Once a cop, let it knock, yeah. I for one think we should celebrate redemption instead of condemning it. Corey Pegues, what up? Talking truth, bruh. Check it out. Once a cop.
Pull up a seat. You're now in Corey's Corner, where right conversations matter. I'm your host, Corey Pegues, and I always keep it right, not real. Today, I'm sitting down with a man who spent more than 3 decades at the center of New York City's law enforcement and labor battles, Norman Seabrook. Born and raised in the Bronx as the oldest of 9 siblings, he became a correctional officer in 1985 and quickly built a reputation on Rikers Island for his toughness and leadership. In 1995, after a long shot campaign, he shocked the establishment by winning the presidency of the Correction Officers Benevolent Association, COBA, going on to lead the union for over 20 years. Along the way, he fought for equal pay and benefits, created a Widows and Children's Fund, and pushed through landmark legislation to improve conditions for correction officers. But his story doesn't stop there. His career includes high-profile honors, community work, and one of the most public corruption cases in New York Union history. Today, we dive into the victories, the controversies, and the lessons learned with Norman Seabrook, my brother.
My man, good to see you, brother.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We've been waiting, man. The people have been waiting. Before we go into it, I got to shout my sponsors out. This episode of Corey's Corner is powered by Corrupt Mob MC. Brotherhood, community, and strength on 2 wheels. From the open road to giving back, Corrupt Mob is more than a motorcycle club. It's a family. Respect the ride, Corrupt Mob MC. And Vodka, the smooth fusion of premium vodka and tequila. Whether you're celebrating a win or just enjoying the moment, Vodka brings the fire to every occasion. Drink responsibly and taste the mix at vodka.net. Let's get into it. Tell us a little about your upbringing in the Bronx.
First of all, thanks for having me, and to your viewers, God bless them, man. I grew up in the South Bronx during the 60s, 70s, 80s. It was tough, man. You know, people on the streets doing all kind of things, man. Drugs, alcohol, heroin, nickel bags, dime bags, gangs.
They don't know about nickel bags.
No, they don't know about it, but, you know, it had a lot of seeds in it, too. You know, but
they really was tray bags.
That's what it was, a big tray bag. Okay. Loose joints. All of that stuff was common. And when I grew up, I started out working as a young age because my dad wasn't around, and I felt compelled, being the oldest boy in the family, to do what was right for my mother. Just celebrated my mother's 93rd birthday.
Wow.
She's still with us. Still
Happy birthday, great. Mama Seabrook.
You know, and she's doing great, thank God.
Nice.
You know? And I had I don't want to say a difficult upbringing, because you have to make a choice in life on what you want to do with your life. And my mother always instilled in us to do the right thing. And I did the right thing. Married now 41 years with my wife. High school sweetheart, I want to say, yeah, I met her when I was 15 years old. So, you know, we had our ups and downs before we got married. And now that I'm married, 2 beautiful daughters, I'm happy, man. So growing up in the Bronx is a good look. It sure as hell beat the hell out of coming to Queens with all these different streets and addresses and corner stores and all this other stuff. But I'm happy to be here with you, brother, and I wish you nothing but success in what you're doing.
Thank you so much. What originally drew you to corrections in
What
1985?
drew me to become a New York City correction officer is I took every exam because my mother-in-law at the time told me you need to take every exam that comes up. And I did. I took the correction, I took police, I took whatever. And correction called me first. So I became a New York City correction officer. And then NYPD called me a year later. In 85, I became a correction officer. NYPD called me in 86. But I had already completed probation. So I said, oh, hell with this. I'm not going to start all over again, because you never know what could happen. And I went on to become the president of the Correctional Officers Union.
Well, let's hold on to that.
Okay.
Let's hold on. We got some presidential questions for you, too.
Okay.
But it's just like my story and, you know, other audience members out there. That's what we did back then. Take every test. Today, you can't get these kids to take one test. They want to They don't want to take one test, but we all took all the exams. Your parents told you, get a house, 2 cars, white picket fence, get insurance, take care of your family. But these
I
kids
think
today,
that part of it is because we don't spend enough time communicating with our kids.
mm-hmm.
We allow the telephone to do everything for us these days. And when you have an iPhone and you're constantly on that iPhone is going to become your teacher. That iPhone is not saying that you need to take a civil service exam and become a blue collar worker and you could get a pension 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, whatever it may be. So we've lost touch. And I think that that's important that we remember what I just said. We've lost touch. Now it's time to get the touch back. How do you get the touch back? You get the touch back by communicating with the young people. I mean, I'm being honest with you. If you walked out of here right now and walked down the street, you probably wouldn't say hello to 5 people. You would probably keep going. But you see, that's not who I am.
Right.
If I make eye contact with you, I'm going to speak to you.
Right.
That's the way that I was raised. So we have to get back to basics.
In your view, what qualities separate a good correction officer from a great one, especially in a place like Rikers Island, which is, if I'm not mistaken, biggest jail in the country, right?
Yes, biggest municipal jail in the
biggest
country.
municipal. Yeah. I don't know if it's the most violent, but it's the biggest municipal in the country.
I think what separates a great correction officer from a good correction officer, I was a great correction officer because I
How
knew.
did I know you was going to say that?
Well, because that's just who you know me to be. You can't have it 2 ways, brother. Come on. You wouldn't have me here if you thought I was just good. You only bring great people on your show, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so as me being a great correction officer, what the difference is because even when I worked inside the facilities as the security officer and I seen inmates that I knew from the streets, they still called me Norman. And they still didn't get nothing extra from me. That's a great correction officer, knowing your position. A good correction officer is intimidated, and they're going to bring them something in. I had no problems with that. Now, don't get me wrong. If I was eating a sandwich on my post and I finished my sandwich and Shorty over there was hungry, he could have the rest of my sandwich. I don't care what nobody said, because I'm not throwing food in the garbage.
Right.
That's just who I am. So a great correction officer and a good correction officer, a great police officer and a good police officer, you have to be able to understand the person that you're dealing with. You're dealing with 60, 70, 100 different personalities at one time in an 8-hour shift. Each time you deal with each and every one of those individuals, you have to take on a different identity. But always staying firm and consistent on who you are, they will respect you more.
I couldn't have said it any better. And that goes for any law enforcement personnel, any probation, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
You can't lose your integrity or sight of who you are.
Right.
Which you're going to learn at home anyway. Now, you led COBA for the union for over 2 decades. Looking back, what do you consider your most transformative win for officers? And what was the hardest fight that you had to wage? And before you answer that, I want to tell you this. I have to look in the camera. Now, I've known Norman a long time. His reputation precedes let me tell you, I knew 1, 2, 3, 4-star chiefs in correction officers, captains, all of them, DEPs, ADWs, all of them. He was so well respected in that organization. From what I hear, when you would walk into the jail, the chiefs would get nervous. I mean, the chiefs would get nervous, say, Norman's coming in, because you always took care of the men and women that worked under you. Now, back to the question. What was you consider your most transformative win for officers, and what was the hardest fight?
I think that the biggest win that I got for New York City correction officers, which is the variable supplement, the VSF bill, the defined benefit bill. The NYPD and the fire department were the only 2 organizations in the city of New York for many, many years, since the 70s, to have this piece of legislation that gives them an additional $12,000 a year every year on top of their pension. Correction officers didn't have that. And I fought like hell to get it. And I got it. So every New York City correction officer receives the same benefit as a firefighter or a police officer, which is $12,000 every year, December 15th, for as long as they are alive, on top of their pension. So that was I think my greatest accomplishment as far as legislation is concerned. I think that the biggest opportunity that I had in correction was finally getting people of color to be respected in law enforcement. That meant more to me than anything else, because correction officers have always been looked upon as the stepchildren, perps with badges, all kind of disgusting things. And I changed that. And I continue to press forward for New York City correction officers, police officers, and firefighters, and any other municipal worker, because I think it's important that they have the respect. They go out here and they do a very, very tough job. I think my biggest downside was trusting people around me on my executive board that voted for a benefit that caused me to end up in federal prison because they all voted for it. And that was something that really shook my spine for a second, but I'm okay with it, and I'm not bitter about it.
Well, we're gonna get into that a little bit.
I'm not bitter about it, because I know that you signed that piece of paper, and you signed it, but I'll take the blame for it. But it taught me a very valuable lesson. You see, it's never a loss. It's always a lesson. And the lesson that I took from it is there are individuals out there that will tell you and sell you as quickly as they can. I will never be sold again, and I will never be played again. So that's it.
Well, you just took my next two questions. So just so the audience know, I had a couple of other questions. One was about the variable, and also to announce that you passed more than 35 pieces of legislation.
Yes.
That's huge.
There is no union in the state of New York that can match what I've done.
No, that's huge.
God is good.
Let me ask you, how did you build leverage with mayors and governors to secure those wins?
It's about who you are. Let me give you an example. Brother Mondami,
yes,
Brother Adams, Brother Cuomo, they're running for mayor. I remember when Mike Bloomberg ran for mayor, and Mark Green ran against him. Every union in the city of New York supported Mark Green.
Everyone.
I was the only union leader, the single union leader, to support Mike Bloomberg for mayor. And he won. The point that I'm making to you is that don't believe all these other people that's coming around talking about, oh, you got this, you got this. Can I keep it real? That's bullshit.
Yes.
It ain't over till it's over.
That's right.
But you get the right people behind you, you could win. If one of those candidates had a conversation with me right now, I could tell them how to increase their numbers.
Right.
Because you see, with the municipal workers of the city of New York, that's the driving force of this city. But they're not talking to the municipal workers. They're busy worried about what's going on in Washington. Take care of your house first, and then you worry about Washington. But right now, everybody's conscious. Oh, he's doing this, and this one's doing that, and this one's doing that. Come on, stop it, man. Yeah, you can't get your house together, but you're going to tell somebody else how to take care of their house. And as far as being able to be effective, I was the only union leader to support Senator Barack Obama for president of the United States.
Well, we can just end the interview because he's just going to take, you just know all the questions. I had to talk to the executive producer. You got all the questions?
No, we're just having a conversation. I mean,
I love it.
You know.
Well, let me give, I'm
sorry.
I have to give you flowers.
Thank you, sir.
You have to give flowers.
Thank you.
You are arguably known, at least in my heart, and people I know, as a kingmaker.
Thank you, sir.
People don't realize you are a kingmaker. And if it wasn't for the hiccup in your life or career, I'm saying, I think you would Eric Cap, you would have been the first black mayor.
Yes.
I believe
people knew that I wanted to run for mayor, and that's why the hit came.
You would have been the first, the second, you would have been the second black mayor. But you've been a kingmaker and doing stuff unusual, your own way. You picked Bloomberg. I remember, it's like, Norman is endorsing this. No one else is endorsing. He gets picked. Barack Obama before was sexy change, whatever that slogan he had.
Si se puede. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. And all. Before all of that, you was on the bus.
Yes.
You have been on the forefront. So I have to, on Corey's Corner, let people know he is a kingmaker. if I had $1,000 right now and I was betting on somebody to win the 2025 mayoral race, I would call you and ask you, yo, no, who am I gonna put my money on?
Let's think for the next election, 2026 governor's race. Hold that 1,000. You're gonna double that.
Okay, well, I need to trip. It's 1,000. They at least give me about 8 back on that.
They're gonna give you a lot more. But you know what? In continuing that conversation,
but how did you get to the intuition to pick these winners like that came from nowhere?
Because, and I say this wholeheartedly, brother. God, we in tune, baby. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, Corey, everybody went with Hillary Clinton. And I said, no, it's going to be Senator Barack Obama. And they said, you're crazy. Everybody went with Mark Green. I said, it's going to be Mike Bloomberg. They said, you're crazy. Everybody in 2016 went with Hillary Clinton. I said, it's going to be Donald Trump. And they said, you're crazy. It's public information.
Right. Yeah.
And ever since I went and I supported Donald Trump in 2016, I remember it distinctly. Rudy Giuliani and I were having a cocktail, and we were at the Havana Club. And Rudy said, Norm, I'm going on Fox News tonight. What do you think about Trump? I said, Trump's going to do all right. He's going to win, and he may be able to create jobs like the Reagan administration did for New Yorkers and for the country. He said, can I say that? I said, I don't care. He got on Fox News. He said it. That was April. In June, I got indicted. It is what it is. But I honestly say I would never want to repeat that again.
Right.
But wow, the lesson that I got, priceless. Mm-hmm. Priceless. Because the people that I thought were with me, they ain't with you, bro. You by yourself. Mm-hmm. Did nobody knock on my door? No, I'm not going to say nobody. The people that I thought would knock on my door to make sure the lights were on,
right?
They weren't there. The people that I thought would make sure that my wife had food in the refrigerator, they weren't there. But like I said, it's not a loss; it's a lesson,
right? Because
now, when they see me, all I do is smile at them.
Yeah.
Ask them how they doing, how's their family. Because listen, a con man is a manufacturer of anything. You got people telling you're going to get a free bus ride. You ain't getting no free bus ride. You ain't getting nothing for free. And if you do get it for free for a week, when the free runs out, what you going to do then? You understand? These things have been tried before. Yeah. This has been tried in Cuba. This has been tried in Venezuela. All this free. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to be responsible. They don't even have it in a platform that makes you believe 90% of it. It's right. You look at it and you got to say to yourself, this is bullshit. It can't be. But since the iPhone raises us,
right,
they believe it.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
Let me tell you, when I woke up 2016 and I was on the front page of the New York Post, ever since then I learned the only people who's behind you is the one you look in the mirror.
That's right.
It's nobody.
That's right.
So that's how I operate now. Like everybody gonna be sucking on you, like yo, you my man. Yeah. And then when shit hit the fan, like you said, nobody's there. Let's pivot.
My wife is my people.
The wife is your
life.
And
my daughters are my pebbles. And my grandkids. The rest of them, and I love the people that supported me. There are some hundreds of people that supported me. And I'm not going to say that they didn't. And I'm grateful to you and I appreciate you. But we still got more work to do, because at the end of the day, we can't continue to allow ourselves to be subjected to what's happening to this city and in this state.
So let's pivot to some of this other honorable stuff you was doing. You directed morgue operations during 9/11. That had to be an unimaginable experience. Over 3,000 people died that fateful day. I didn't know. See, a little research on Corey's Corner. We do a little research. You know, the EP was sending me these questions. I said, he directed morgue operations?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
We closed the street. All the bodies that came in, if they were law enforcement or...
where were the bodies for the morgue?
The bodies, some of them was just a drape of, an American flag
Right,
over.
right. No, I mean like location. Were y'all taking them to a location?
No. They came into the medical examiner's office.
Okay.
They brought them all to the medical.
Manhattan?
Yes, on First
Okay.
Avenue, and then we had to get refrigerated trucks and
Right.
stuff like that. And it was horrible, man. I remember seeing a body come in of a woman and a child. She was holding the child. And they were burnt to death, man. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But you know, I did what I had to do. And I think that it's important, and all the correction officers that did what they were supposed to do. They helped set up communications for 9/11, blankets, cots, things like that, food that we got from facilities and other restaurants helped out as well. But to all of those men and women, volunteers and all from all agencies that helped out, I truly appreciate that. And I know their families appreciate that as well.
But it doesn't stop there. You did humanitarian work for national disasters. I specifically remember Hurricane Katrina.
Yes.
You was one of the people that was in charge of Hurricane Katrina rallying up Timmy Pearson. You had Timmy Pearson with you and the crew, right? Y'all had buses going down to Hurricane Katrina. I didn't know you was involved in that.
Yes, the city of New York, as far as I was concerned, wasn't moving fast enough. So what I did was I went to the commissioner of the agency and I said, I want you to give me 50 correction officers and I'll pay for whatever it is that I got to pay for. Send them down to assist in any way that they could. And they did that. And there was a dep on the bus. His name was Bailey. He got promoted when he came back because I pushed for him to get promoted too.
Right.
Because he did a good job, and so did the men and women.
He's still speaking to you now?
I speak to him.
Okay.
You know.
Because, some of these people forget.
They do forget, but it's okay. I'm reminding him now.
Only on Corey's Corner.
And I also did disaster relief for Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic,
yes,
and Haiti. So I didn't leave anybody out. So no one could say to me, well, you did for this one, you didn't do for that one.
Right.
We did for everybody. I remember when the different fraternal organizations would come and say, listen, can you buy tickets to this or can you buy tickets to that? I said, let me make a blanket comment for everybody. Give everybody, every organization $5,000. That's what you get for the year. What you do with that $5,000 is yours, and I'm not buying another ticket. I'll come in, But everybody got treated fairly, and that's important. And I think that that goes. I don't want to say unnoticed. It just doesn't get the recognition that it so rightfully deserves, and I think that's because of the people that are in charge of that agency now. They are, in my opinion, some of them very, very good. Some of them need to go. Thank you for your service. Your services are no longer needed.
Right.
And we need to move on because Rikers Island has become a real problem. The feds have taken it over.
We're going to get into that. I want to ask your opinion on Rikers Island.
Okay.
Without a doubt. But one more thing. I didn't realize you was an MTA commissioner.
I was a commissioner appointed by Governor George Pataki on the MTA board.
Public safety. You oversaw 5,000 miles of transit security.
Yes. And
so what parallels did you see between protecting correction officers and protecting millions of commuters every day?
I think they both go hand in hand. And why do I say they both go hand in hand? Because I think that protecting anyone, whether it be one person or 100,000 or 1 million people, you have to have it in your heart to want to do it. It has to be in you. It can't be looked upon as whether you're black or white, Hispanic, Mexican. Those things shouldn't matter. What should matter is who you are. If you love yourself, then you're bound to help other people. So it didn't matter to me whether it was 5,000 miles of track or 5 facilities on Rikers Island with 5,000 inmates. Inmates got treated very well by me. That's why I don't have a problem in the city of New York. I could walk anywhere in the city of New York and have somebody go, yo, that's Seabrook right there.
That's right.
Because of who I am. And I treated you right. I didn't have to use force. I didn't have to beat on you. I didn't have to get 5 other guys to jump you, kick your eye socket out your head, which I think is disgusting and wrong. And I told officers all the time, use whatever force is necessary to terminate that situation, and then after that, that's it. But some of them want to go over and beyond. And my thing to you is, now let me see how you're going to write that report. Let me say how you're going to write that. You can't write that.
Right.
So yeah, I think that everything goes hand in hand, Corey.
Man, listen, this is going good, but I'm going to get you right now.
Okay.
We're at the segment of Corey's Corner called the Spitfire Round, where I ask you questions, rapid fire questions, and you give me one-word answers. Okay?
One-word answers.
One-word answers.
That might be a little difficult.
Nah, it's easy.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
What's tougher to manage, Rikers or transit?
Rikers.
Which role fits you best, union leader or radio host?
Governor.
You heard it here on Corey's Corner first. Do correction officers get the respect they deserve in New York City?
No.
Better mayor to work with, Giuliani or Bloomberg?
Giuliani.
Was the pension buyback your proudest legislative win?
No.
Was 911 response the hardest day of your career?
No.
Do you believe corruption is systematic in unions?
No.
Do you still consider yourself a leader?
Yes.
Did prison make you stronger?
Yes.
What's your legacy, redemption or resilience?
Resilience.
Spitfire round. You did it. That brings us to another end of the Spitfire round. Let's shift gears. For the listeners who want to dive deeper into the realities of policing, leadership, and community, I implore you to purchase my book, Once a Cop, award-winning book, Once a Cop, The Street, The Law, Two Worlds, One Man. And for my visual listeners who want to see something, it was adapted into a feature documentary called A Cops and Robbers Story, and it's streaming on Hulu and Apple TV. It takes a look and opens up the blinds to my life, and pick up both copies. You won't be disappointed. Now a word from our sponsor.
It's that time of year again. Angels Heart for Hope Foundation, MS Strong, second annual sneaker ball is going down in Rochdale Village in the community center, October 18th, Saturday, October 18th. We're getting close. And listen, all we're doing is providing funding and equipment for people who suffer and are afflicted with multiple sclerosis.
I am Monique Chandler Waterman, New York State Assembly member. Check out Corey's Corner on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
You hosted radio shows on WBLS, WWRL, giving officers and politicians a platform. How did those conversations shape the way you think about relationships between law enforcement and the community?
I think that it did something that was very important. I think that it gave the correctional officer an opportunity to realize and remember that they are human and they still live in the community. And I think it gave the community an opportunity to hear from the leaders of the Correctional Officers Benevolent Association, giving them a better understanding of we're human as well. And the things that you talk about and the things that you bridge together between both communities is important. It's just like I think in policing, I think that cops spend too much time in the car. Get out the car, go up the street and meet the neighbor that's out there, because that's the person that's going to save your life. And why do I say that? It's because just like in jail, it's the inmate, if you treat them right, is going to be the one that tells you, CO, it's about to pop off. You need to leave right now.
Right.
So I think that it bridged the gap between the community and the union.
Love it. You work closely with presidents, governors, mayors, and legislators. Which political relationship taught you the most about power and compromise?
I want to say it probably was the Pataki administration.
Governor George Pataki, New York State governor.
I think it was his administration, because he had a lot of people around him. He had Rudy Giuliani was mayor of the city of New York, and people would ask, and let me be candid, if I will. People say, well, how could you support Rudy Giuliani? Rudy Giuliani gave correction officers, let me back up for a second. I was the head of the Uniformed Forces Coalition. The Uniformed Forces Coalition is a group of labor organizations that come together as police, fire, sanitation, correction, detectives. All of us come together and we sit down and we negotiate a contract. And I will never forget, we're sitting around trying to get a raise. And the raise that's on the table is 3%. For the Uniformed Forces Coalition. So a couple of the individuals in the room said, well, if you think you could do better, Norman, go ahead and do it. So I went into, God rest his soul, Jim Hanley, former commissioner of labor relations, and he got the mayor on the phone, and me, Mayor Giuliani, and Commissioner Hanley, we went up to Gracie Mansion. And I tell this story because it's an actual true story. And the three of us sat on the deck in the back of Gracie Mansion. We had a scotch, we had a cigar, and I came back with 5, 5, and 5 for the Uniformed Forces with no givebacks, no nothing. The only group at that time to not accept it, and I don't know why, was the PBA. They didn't want to do it. They wanted to try to go alone, but they also ended up with the 5, 5, and 5 with no givebacks. So and compounded, let me say, and all of the Uniformed Forces got the same thing. No givebacks, no nothing. And that was a pivotal point in negotiations of the way that I negotiate and the way that others. And as far as legislation concerning Albany is concerned, Governor Pataki and I have a great deal of respect for that man. As a matter of fact, he appointed me to the MTA board, okay? And David Patterson fired me from the MTA board when Spitzer and those guys came into office. But Governor Pataki gave me the opportunity to set the stage, if you will. Had a very good relationship with him, had a very good relationship with Raymond W. Kelly, former police commissioner of New York City. So those things we worked hand in hand to get things done. So legislation-wise, Governor Pataki gave me the HART bill, the 3-quarter bill, the variable supplement bill, and 32 other pieces of legislation to benefit the men and women of the New York City Correction Department, and mostly of color, let me point out to you, because like I said before, we were treated as second-class citizens. So I think that in my tenure as president of the Correction Officers Union, I think I did pretty good.
Oh, yeah, you did good. And you threw a fabulous cigar event every summer, too, at Don.
It used to be Don Coquise. We had great cigar nights.
Great cigar
I used to rent out Rye Playland for the men and women and their families.
Yes.
And people would say to me, well, why are you doing that? I said, because I don't do Christmas parties. Right. And they said, well, why don't you do Christmas parties? I said, because you only show up with your girlfriend and you're not showing up with your wife. So I want you to come to Rye Playland and bring your kids and bring your wife. And now we can point each other out and say, yeah. So that's why I did that.
I love it. You also was the vice chair of the Bronx Democratic Club.
That is correct. I was vice chair of the Bronx Democratic Committee.
I mean, listen, how did the union leadership style translate into political party leadership?
I think it translates because, for the most part, they go hand in hand with the Democratic Party, the Republican Party. But what I think the biggest problem comes in at is no one wants to call a spade a spade. Okay, I call it like I see it. Okay, the Democrats, I'm calling them, all they do is kick the can down the road. They have done absolutely nothing for New York City or New York State. They sit in office, they promise you the world, and then after the election, they disappear until the next time for the election. You may get one or two here or there to do something a little bit. But why can't our communities look the same as Park Avenue? Why can't our communities look the same as Gramercy Park or Hudson River or all these other places? It's because the people that are in our communities, they're not recognized, they're not respected by the elected officials. If they were respected by the elected officials, we would not be faced with the amount of shootings that we have, the robberies, burning people on the subway. This is crazy. And we keep drinking the Kool-Aid, thinking that it's going to get better. It's not going to get better until we get better. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit by and just talk about it. I'm going to be about it. So we have to change some of the people that are in office right now. Just kick them out. Get rid of them. They're not doing anything for us.
I'm ABE. Okay. Anybody but Eric.
Anybody but Eric. Eric, in my opinion, Eric could have done so much more. Could have done so much more. But Eric,
I think he had it right here. I think he had it.
I look. I think Eric is a great brother. I think Eric caught a situation where he's just like, okay, what do I do now?
He's in over his head. It's quite
because
obvious.
Sometimes when you surround yourself with people that don't know what they're doing, these are the things that happen.
Well, listen, I can't have this Corey Corner beat up Eric.
No, Eric's not
every single week.
Well, you're not beating him up. That's your opinion. But you see,
opinion. You do know I have a 35-year relationship with him. You know that.
I have the same amount of years.
We know.
He was in the assembly. Eric didn't even support. He ran people against me.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, well, look, they're not mad at you.
34 years before I said Eric Adams. But
you
talk
don't
about
mean that.
You had a stumble. In 2019, you were sentenced to 58 months in prison for honest fraud and conspiracy. Mm-hmm. How did you internally process that judgment, both legally and personally at the time?
I put a lot of faith in God. I was sentenced to 58 months. I came home in 21.
I'm taking another question. You taking another
question?
No.
I came home because the judge, in his words, this don't look right.
I know.
And he let me go. So I've been home. I've been scot-free since 21, 22.
So one of my questions was, the judge reduce your sentence citing an unjust disparity with your co-defendant? Your co-defendant was released early, right?
My co-defendant never went to jail.
Never went to jail?
No, he didn't go to jail.
The co-defendant never went to jail?
No.
I'm firing the executive producer.
Why? Why would you fire them?
I'm only joking.
At the end of the day,
I'm only joking.
Okay,
but what
but at the end,
they say it was unjust disparity between you and your co-defendant. I guess they're saying you got sentenced to 58 months. The co-defendant did not get anything.
Okay,
and that's why the judge said it was
unfair. But at the end of the day, I got time served. So at the end of the day, I'm good to go. So it doesn't bother me. I learned like I said, it's not a loss, it's a lesson. Mm-hmm. So I learned a very valuable lesson, Corey. And I'm very, very, very grateful that God kept me, protected me, watched over me, showed me favor, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Showed me favor,
So
brother.
let me ask you, this is one of the important questions. Scandal involved losses that have directly affected some of your members. And I know that's close to your heart. How did you grapple with the personal and financial impact on those who, trusted you and looked up to you?
It's still business. When you make an investment on Wall Street and you lose money, you lose money.
Right.
People on Wall Street don't go to jail for losing money. Why is Norman Seabrook? When I said that I wanted,
I didn't understand. Like, you invested money, but they were saying you stole the money.
Now, look, if I was sitting on $20 million, would I be sitting here being interviewed by you, bro? I'm being honest with you. I'm not trying to be sarcastic.
No,
I'm just simply saying that's not true.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that's
that's what the members thought.
Well, and at the end of the day, it's unfortunate. The members thought I wouldn't get the VSF, but I got it. The members thought I wouldn't get the heart bill, but I got it.
Right.
Every time someone comes along and they feed you a little, that's the devil's job, to feed you a little bit and then you go run with it. But you see, those things don't bother me. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm content. Everything that happened for a reason. And all of those people that signed off on that, they're the ones that got to look in the mirror and say, yeah, I screwed Norman. That's not me. When you have a board of trustees and you sign off on something, it's not your fault. How come nobody on Wall Street goes to jail when they lose billions of dollars?
Billions.
How come when the economy crashed, FHA loans and everything, nobody went to jail for that? Billions of dollars. But since I said publicly, I'm going to run for mayor, They said, no, you not, brother.
You would have won.
Well,
I think that's well known. So, what advice would you give to emerging union leaders, being that you went through all that about maintaining ethical guardrails and handling power responsibly?
I think that the message that I would give to union leaders is to pause, because I see recklessness. You don't need to be out hanging out. You don't need to be spending money, going to different restaurants and things like. You don't need to be doing that. You need to take care of your membership. Take care of your members and their children. It's just like when you look at the bigger picture. You want, for example, the mayor is talking about changing Medicaid and Medicare, or the Medicaid programs and the health programs for the city of New York.
He pulled back on that. Last minute.
You know why? Well, I don't know why, but
I think
I'll show you something.
He's running for mayor.
And I said that on my podcast.
Yes.
I said, if you want to do the right thing, what you need to do is give those law enforcement officers back their job that you took from them. Mm-hmm. And you need to go ahead and drop off of this, changing this medical thing over, because you're going to be 65. As a matter of fact, Eric just turned at 65.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, the point that I'm making is that those are the things that we need to concentrate on. How is it possible that you're in a 3% pension system, brother's in a 5% pension system, this one's in a 6% pension system? That doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, put everybody in the same pension system, mm-hmm. on the same tier. Right. And what's going to happen is the older people are going to leave, mm-hmm. and the younger people are going to come in, and it's going to cost you less money on your health benefits because they're younger. They're not going to the doctor as much. They're not going to the dentist as much. But you see people, politicians, Democrats, playing with us. It's got to stop, Corey. It's got to stop. And it's up to people like you that have a voice and have a microphone and have a show to enlighten people as to what's going on. I understand all of the cosmetics, if you will, that go along with doing a show.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when you leave here, the show must go on.
Right.
That's who I am.
Listen, I only have a couple of more questions, but I have some off the top that I have to ask you about. 2025 New York City mayoral election. I need to get your opinion on this.
I think that the election is too early to call right now. And the reason why I say it's too early to call right now is because anything could happen in an election.
Right.
We saw that with Bloomberg. Mm-hmm. We saw that with Trump. Mm-hmm. We saw that with Obama.
We saw it with Eric last time.
Saw it all over the place. I think that what's about to happen now is, let me just back up for a second. The governor stepping in to support Mondami. Mm-hmm. From what I'm understanding, Mondami's not supporting her for governor.
I couldn't believe that.
But I believe it.
But
I believe it.
He was asked
because
yesterday.
That's the spoon of the devil. You give to me, but I'm not giving to you. And at the end of the day, people have got to really focus on this. You're not getting a free bus ride. You're not getting a free lunch.
Who's offering that? Ma'am Danny?
Yes, I work. As a matter of fact, this Saturday, once a month, I do a shelter. We we feed the homeless that come from this ministry's church or center in the Bronx. And we go out there on Saturdays, and I see these people line up to get what they can. You cannot have centers that you're talking about giving away free food like that, because it just doesn't work like that. At the end of the day, I think that the governor of the state of New York has made huge mistakes, but nobody calls them out on that. When you stand there and you say that you're going to give $200 or $400 to low-income individuals, and then you tell them, don't spend it in a liquor store, and nobody talks about that. When you tell me, and I live in the Bronx, that the black kids in the Bronx don't even know what a computer is, how dare you? That's very insensitive. I'm not going to say you're a racist because I don't know you.
Right.
But I know it's insensitive about what you said. Mm-hmm. And somebody has to check these people for that. And the Democratic Party should have checked her for that. The Speaker of the Assembly and the Senate should have checked her for that. But they didn't, because they're worried about their own little games that they got going.
So what do you think about the two most powerful Democrats in the nation, Schumer and Hakeem, not supporting Ma'am Dami is the Democratic nominee, right? We
Yes.
agree on that.
Yes.
Republicans don't do that.
No, they don't.
They stand in line.
Yeah.
These guys are not supporting him.
I'm not mad at them for not supporting him. By not supporting him, they already said we don't support the dude. I mean, you don't have to say I'm not supporting you. All you got to do is not show up.
Well,
that tells you something right there. But it sends a very clear message. Doesn't it send a message that something's wrong here?
Yes, absolutely.
So if you got the two most powerful Democrats,
yes,
Schumer,
yes,
United States Senator, and Hakeem Jeffries, if you got the two most powerful people standing there not buying into this, something's wrong here.
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong. And at the end of the day, when you have individuals of Miss Ocasio, she represents parts of the Bronx where I live.
AOC.
Yeah. But I don't see AOC in my neighborhood. I see you flying all over the place talking about gargantua, whatever thing they got going on.
Right.
That's not what's important to me. What's important to me is the little black kid don't get killed in the Bronx no more. What's important to me is that these individuals that keep killing our kids in the park, the governor didn't walk through that park. The governor don't go up on 180th Street, 149th Street, Marion Avenue, Fordham Road, Castle Hill Avenue, Morris Park. They don't travel in St. Mary's Park. And then you want to tell me, oh, we don't need no help down here. Oh, yeah, you need a hell of a lot of help because something's wrong when our kids are being killed in the street and all of these elected officials are walking around like with blinders on, like this. You know why it doesn't count to you? Because you're protected. I want to protect Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Rodriguez, the same way that you're protected.
So, who's winning the 2025 mayoral election and why?
I just told you it's too early to call. I'm not going back on that. It's too early to call. And the reason why it's too early to call is because there's still time for whomever it may be, to step up their game. And you see, people are afraid to step up their game because they're influenced by others. You're not influencing me. Okay, I have my own opinions. I have my own determination of how I get things done. I will listen to you. I will converse with you, but you are certainly not going to spoon feed me that line of everything's free. That's not happening. You don't tell me what you're going to do about the situations that are occurring. Inmates are there's 12, 14 inmates killed dead on Rikers Island in 1 year, and that's the most I had in 20. There's something wrong.
There's something definitely wrong.
And it's not the inmate all the time. It's the management. When you don't know what you're doing, they don't know what they're doing. And
So
when
what you
they don't
think-
know what they're doing, that's the end result.
What you see is the biggest challenge facing correction officers in New York City.
The biggest challenge facing correction officers right now is leadership.
Can we talk about the Fed takeover and that?
Sure.
What's going on with Rikers Island?
I think that the feds had no choice but to go in. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're kicking the can down the road. And at the end of the day, I'm not mad at them for taking it over. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe it'll get worse. I don't know. But I know the change was needed, man. The place is horrible. How are you going to justify spending $5 billion to build one facility in the South Bronx? $5 billion. That was the first number under de Blasio. Now it's up to $7 or $8 billion to build that same place. Now you're going to build a jail in my community. You're going to lower my you're going to lower my property value in my community. You're going to allow my children to pass this place that they call jail every day long. And you're going to make me believe that $8 billion can't be better spent in building housing that Mrs. Jones or Mrs. Mary or whoever it is could live here for 20 years. So you're going to build a jail here, and that's going to be your answer to it. So you're not changing anything. You're just moving the problem from one place to another. Because at the end of the day, if you can't take care of what you have now, how are you going to take care of something else? So you got a brand new building. You still got the same inmate. Nothing changed. No. You still have the same inmate. Not only that, why don't you take half of that money and refurbish some of the facilities that you have on Rikers, make it better, make it more accountable, get rid of some of those managers that don't need to be there, and start fresh, start new. Come in with a broad idea. The broad idea is, let's do it the right way, period. Start with that. That's just me, though, bro.
I love it.
That's just
Last question. If you had to summarize your legacy in union leadership, public service, and even through controversy. How do you want to be remembered?
How God wants to remember me. I don't care what you think. I think Prime Time said it best. What makes you think I care what you think about me?
Prime definitely said that.
Well, you didn't make me, so you can't break me.
Exactly.
You understand? And I say that, Corey, and I say that, and I don't mean no disrespect. We're just having fun here. But I'm serious about everything that I said.
Yes.
I am
conversation
not joking about what I said. It's time for us to make a change. It's time for us to really start to evaluate ourselves as what we believe the best foundation is for our families and our children and our communities. Hochul don't live in the Bronx. Mondami don't live in the Bronx. Cuomo don't live in the Bronx. Eric don't live in the Bronx. You're going to have to find someone in your community that you really trust. And I'm not talking about just going to any church. I go to church too. The devil goes to church too. So at the end of the day, you're going to have to really search yourself in this new election coming up on whether or not you want whomever it may be. And I'll be honest with you, if one of them called me on the phone right now and said, Norm, let's talk, I'm going to give them the same conversation I just gave you. And if you can't convince me, I'm not supporting you. That's just who I am.
I guess that's your wrap.
My
Is
man.
there anything else that you wanted to add before
I can
we
add
wrap?
something. I can add something?
Yes.
You can follow me on my social media as well. My Instagram, my TikTok, my Facebook, and my YouTube. Norm Seabrook. Get up, tighten up. Appreciate you. Thank you, Brother Corey. You are truly a blessing. I'm so happy to see you. I mean, you look good, bro.
You too.
And I know you
I'm
went
glad,
through some things
I'm
too.
glad that
You know.
Norm is like me. We not with the die. Like we know we're not gonna be 30 years old again, Norm.
I'm 65 years old, bro.
Yeah, but you got 70-year-old people dying their head.
Yeah,
These
I
guys
ain't
have lost
doing
their
that.
mind.
I ain't
But
doing that.
thank you. Your journey is layered with triumphs, challenges, and lessons. I'm so happy to have you on there. You've been a brother for a long time.
Always going to be.
Called you 15, 20 years ago when I needed something for somebody.
That's all right. I took care of it. We don't have to talk about that.
yeah.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think about me? Where do you want to see me a year from now, 2 years from now?
I'm going to tell you from my heart, I don't even think you touched the surface of what you can do politically in New York City. I think there's a place for you. You got all these other clowns. I mean, Eric indicted 5 counts. I read the indictment. If Kamala Harris wins, Jumane's the mayor right now. We know that. He's in jail without a doubt. Matter of fact, right before they left, they was getting ready to hit him in the ass with more charges. It was more indictments. So we got a president got 34 indictments. You went to jail for 20 months. So what? No harm, no foul. You did your time served. You have something that a lot of people don't have. That's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding on how this political landscape goes. And you already know the Pegues house is open for a fundraiser, and we writing checks for you whenever the time is here. You heard it here. You just got to promise that you come on Corey's Corner. After you do your big announcements, you got to come on Corey's Corner and let the people know. Y'all heard it here. I'm holding him his feet to the fire.
I got. When you meet people like yourself, bro, you gotta come to you first. You gotta come to people like you.
And
first.
you got a book in you.
Doing no book yet.
Let me tell you. So you know how this book came about?
No.
I journaled for my career. I journaled, but more importantly, I was at a convention one day, and I went to one of the classes, and you know what the class was? Everyone has a book in them.
Yes, they do. Everyone does have a book. I just said I'm not ready to write mine yet.
Yo, no, it just touched my heart.
It's just another chapter.
And he did his whole spiel, and I was like, wow, I've been journaling. I could write a book.
Yes, you can.
So your story,
my book would be something.
It had so many different layers to it. I signed with Simon & Schuster. We're gonna get everybody.
I appreciate you.
Right now, I need you in a year and a half from now. You gotta take somebody's seat. We gotta bring some type of normalcy back, and somebody who we trust and believe in. That's going to fight for the citizens.
Because it's about us, man. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us.
It's always
There's
us.
somebody out there right now, man, that's suffering, man. And it's hard. It's hard, Corey. And at the end of the day, people think it's a joke. They think it's a joke, man. It's crazy. It's getting worse. And they think it's going to get better. It's not going to get any better. Not until we change the people that's pulling the trigger. Until we change the people that's pulling the trigger, it's not going to get any better. We're headed for self-destruction. We are in uncharted territories.
Yes.
Uncharted territory.
Again, I appreciate you coming on, man.
I appreciate you.
I love you, man. You already know.
I appreciate you, bro.
For our listeners, if you found value in today's episode, please like, share, and subscribe. This is another episode of Corey's Corner. Remember, keep grinding, keep pushing. It's not about where you start. It's always about where you finish. And he's a true testament to that. I'm Corey Pegues, and you know always keep it right, not real. Peace.
Once a cop, let it knock, yeah. I for one thing we should celebrate redemption instead of condemning it. Corey Pegues, up, talking truth, bruh. Check it out. Once a cop.